Hello everyone, myself Kashish Talwani, your business studies teacher, welcomes you to my channel Simplifying Business Studies. So this session is all about revision or questions of chapter 1 of class 11th, Nature and Purpose of Business. So this video will help you understand the different types of questions which may appear in your examinations, and also you will learn to practice this chapter in a better way through these questions. Let's start with these questions. Let me read out question number 1 for all of you. Name the type of human activities in which a teacher teaching his son at home. So when a teacher is teaching his son at home, she will be doing it for her psychological satisfaction and not for earning money. So this will be a non-economic activity. Question number 2. Mention two types of human activities. So these human activities are divided into two categories: non-economic activity and economic activities. Question number 3. Give two examples of economic activities. So any activities which can make a person earn his livelihood. So doctor operating in her clinic or a worker working in a factory are the examples of economic activity. A girl helping a blind woman to cross the road is an example of which activity? Economic or non-economic? So this girl who is helping this blind woman is not earning any money out of this activity. She is just doing to help the person or to satisfy her own self. So this is a non-economic activity. Question number 5. Give two examples of non-economic activities. A boy helping a blind woman to cross a road, a housewife cooking food for the family. So we can include like other examples also: teacher teaching his own son, or maybe going to temple to pray to your own deity. So all these examples can be mentioned. Mention different types of economic activities. So then again, economic activities are divided into three different categories. We have already included this topic in our sessions: business, profession, and employment. Question number 7. Name the economic activity in which transfer of interest is possible, where there is a possibility to transfer the interest or ownership to some other people. So this is only possible in business, and definitely it is not possible in profession or employment. Question number 8. A person repairs motorcycles on roadside. How will you describe this activity? So person who is repairing these motorcycles on roadside, he is earning money out of his work. So when you are earning money, it is a business activity. It's an economic activity, and again, then out of those three economic activities, business, profession, and employment, this is something this person is doing on his own. So this is a business activity. Why is business considered as an economic activity? So business is considered to be an economic activity because it is undertaken with the object of earning money or livelihood. Activities done out of sympathy, love, affection, or any charitable purpose do not fall under the category of business. So this is exactly what we can explain under this kind of question for 1 marks. Let's see question number 10. Arushi cooks food at home for her family, but Kshitij cooks food and sell it to others in the restaurant. Who is engaged in business activity? So Arushi cooks for the family. She's doing this for her own mental satisfaction, psychological satisfaction. And Kshitij cooks food in a restaurant so that he can earn money out of this activity. So the work which Kshitij is doing is a business activity. Question number 11. Pratyush produces goods not for the purpose of sale but for personal consumption. So when we do certain kind of activity for our own consumption, it is not an economic activity. Only when we are doing this activity or any activity for the purpose of earning money and not for our own use, then only it will be considered as a business activity. So Pratyush here is producing for his own consumption. So answer is no in this case, because it does not involve sale or exchange of goods and services between seller and buyer. Question number 12. Name the element of business which cannot be avoided by business units but can be reduced. So this can only be risk, which cannot be avoided but it can be reduced. How it can be reduced? By taking certain insurances, through that if any kind of mishappening happens to our business, so that can be consolidated. What is the primary objective of business? So primary objective of any business is profit earning. Why must every business earn a reasonable profit? So this profit, we have already covered all these things in a topic called role of profit. So why it is important to earn a reasonable profit? Because a reasonable amount of profit is essential for survival of business. Question number 15. Name the economic activity requiring special knowledge and skills. So, one of the economic activities out of business, employment and profession, which of them requires special knowledge? So, it is obviously profession. Name the economic activity which involves specialized knowledge and in which entry is restricted. So this is another form of the question, like with a little extended information in the question. Entry is restricted. So again the answer is profession, because in profession there is special knowledge, there's a requirement of specialized knowledge along with restricted entry. That means without your registration in the professional association, you cannot work as a certain professional. Like doctors cannot work as doctors until unless they get the registration from the concerned association. Let's see question number 17. Which economic activity requires minimum academic and other qualification? So, at least compulsory academic and other qualifications are required only in a profession. The other things do not require any minimum qualification. Business doesn't require any qualification at all. And in case of employment, qualification is required as per the requirement of the employer. But although if he doesn't require any kind of qualification, there is no minimum requirement for that. Name any two professions and professionals. So there are two names, two professions and two professionals. So one who is into an accounting profession is called a CA, and one into a medical profession can be called a doctor. Name the professional body whose guidelines or code of conduct are followed by lawyers. So in our country, the lawyers are controlled by the guidelines of this association called Bar Council of India. Differentiate between business, profit and employment on the basis of reward or return. So here we need to differentiate on only this basis, reward and return. So in business, uh, profit is the return for undertaking business activities. Profession, the reward is in the form of professional fees for rendering professional services, and in case of employment, the return is remuneration in form of wages, salaries and benefits, etc. So these are all the returns or the rewards which people get under these economic activities. In a business, profit is the return, professional fee is the return, and in case of employment, the wages or salary is the return. Question number 21. State two things which have to be taken into consideration to measure market standing. So this is market potential and competition. Name the risk which involves both possibility of loss as well as possibility of profit. So there is this one kind of risk which when like everything goes well we can have profit, and if things get ruined we can have losses. So this kind of risk is called speculative risk. Like for example, when we launch a new product, there can be a possibility of profits if the product goes well, and if the product doesn't go well, we can face losses. So all these risks in a business are called speculative risk. Which type of risk means chance of loss without any possibility of gain? So this is the kind of risk which is exactly how its name is, pure risk. That means if something happens, only loss can occur and there cannot be any profit in any case. Like for example, the risk of accident or risk of fire in the factory are pure risk. So if these kind of things happen, only loss can be there. Question number 24. Devesh is planning to set up a factory for manufacturing ready-made garments. List any two risks that he might face. So, in case of this kind of business where manufacturing is involved, changing government policies can definitely bring in changes into the business, and also change in demands of people, because this is a business about fashion. This is the business about something which changes with the demand of people. So change in demand is a very important factor which can bring in risk to this kind of business. Why do we insure goods? Why do we need insurance of goods? So we insure goods in order to minimize the risk of loss. We need this kind of insurance because there is loss involved. If these goods can be damaged by fire, theft, or any kind of natural calamities. These kind of things can happen in the process of storage or transport. So insurance, if we take insurance, insurance protect against these kinds of losses. Let's see question number 26. Name the industry which is concerned with extraction of natural resources and reproduction of a living organism. So this is the very first category of industry, primary industry, which is concerned with extraction of natural resources and reproduction of living organism. Like mining comes into this category, poultry comes into this category. Mining of ore is an example of which industry? We will see the answer on next page. As we have already discussed this in the previous question, mining is a type of primary industry. Question number 28. Mention any two types of primary industries. So these primary industries are again segregated into extractive and genetic industries. Is dairying a genetic or an extractive industry? So dairying is a genetic industry. Name the types of industries which is concerned with using the material extracted as the primary stage to manufacture goods either for final consumption or for further processing by other industrial companies. So this is again the second category under the heading industry. So this is secondary industry, which uses the material derived from primary industry to either produce semi-finished goods for further processing, or like the final products which can be used by direct consumers. Question number 31. Mention two types of secondary industry. So these secondary industries are again segregated, classified into manufacturing industries and construction industries. Let's see question number 32 now. Name the industry which provide various support services to primary and secondary industry. So all these industries which provide support services are called tertiary industries. Name two examples of tertiary industries. So banking comes into this category, transportation comes into this category. We can also write insurance, warehousing and advertising. So we can write like 2 out of 5 which are there in the answer. Name two broad categories into which various business activities can be classified. So business activities can be broadly classified into industry and commerce. Name the business activity which is concerned with conversion of resources into useful products. So which is that entity which converts the resources into useful and usable products? So it is definitely industry, which is actually responsible for creating utility. Give any two examples of extractive industries. So mining and lumbering are the examples of extractive industries. Two examples of genetic industry, dairy farming and animal husbandry. Two examples of manufacturing industry, sugar industry and cotton industry. We can write like other examples also. There are many, there is no end to that list. Mention any two categories of manufacturing industry. So manufacturing industries is again classified into processing industry and assembling industry. Name the types of manufacturing industry in which one material is separated into several useful products. So it is analytical industry. Give an example of analytical industry. Oil refinery is a good example of analytical industry. Name the types of industry which combines various ingredients to form a new product. So this is synthetical industry. This industry makes lot of different ingredients and produce a new and absolutely new product. Give an example of synthetical industry. Cement. Cement is a good example of this kind of industry. Name the type of manufacturing industry in which raw material is processed through various stages of production for obtaining finished products. So answer is processing industry. See question number 45. Write two examples of processing industry. Paper industry and cotton industry are good examples. Name the type of manufacturing industry in which manufactured parts are brought together to produce a new product. So this kind of industry is called assembling industry. Name the manufacturing industry wherein TV sets or computers are produced. So TV sets and computers and even mobile phones are produced in a assembling industry because there are a lot of small parts which comes together and this new product is formed. So all these are examples of assembling industry. Internal or inland trade can be classified into two categories. Name the category which involve buying and selling of goods in bulk quantity. So internal trade is divided into two categories, wholesale trade and retail trade. So here when they have asked that when we are buying or selling goods in bulk quantities, name that category. So we can write wholesale trade. Name the business activity which involves movement of goods from one place of production to the place of consumption. So this is obviously one auxiliary to trade, transportation, which removes hindrance of place. Name the auxiliary to trade which removes hindrance of place. Again, the same question has come. So this hindrance of place is removed by not only transportation but also communication. Name the business activity which is concerned with holding goods in stock for sale in future. So when we hold these goods so that we can use them or we can use them for the purpose of selling in future, we use the facility called warehousing, which removes the hindrance of time. That means when goods are produced in one part of the year and they are consumed in like throughout the year, the facility of warehousing is required. Name the auxiliary to trade which removes hindrance of time. So this is again warehousing or storage. This is another way to ask the same question. Name the auxiliary to trade which removes the hindrance of knowledge. So to make people aware about the products, that means to get them aware about the aspects of the product and features of the product and every possible information about the product. Advertising helps. So this is another auxiliary to trade which removes hindrance of knowledge. Business is undertaken with the object of earning money. Which characteristic of business is highlighted in this statement? So, business is undertaken for earning money. So, that means business is an economic activity. So, this is the characteristics which is highlighted here. So, children, I think now you all are quite familiar with the type of questions this chapter will include. So I will definitely come up with one more video for these kind of questions. I hope you all are liking my content. At the end, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for your time.